The boy stood quietly behind the stage curtain, his small fingers wrapped tightly around the microphone, feeling its cool metal against his palms, while the distant sound of the audience echoed like a restless ocean. He could hear people laughing, talking, shifting in their seats, unaware that a child was standing just a few steps away, carrying a song that meant everything to him. His heart beat fast, not because he was afraid, but because this moment had been imagined so many times in his mind. Yet now that it was real, it felt heavier, deeper and far more emotional than he ever expected. He remembered where it all began, long before bright lights and famous judges, back in a modest home in the Philippines, where music played softly through an old radio that sometimes crackled between stations. That radio was his world, his teacher, his escape, and every evening he would sit close to it, listening carefully, absorbing every note, every lyric, even when he did not fully understand the words. Music was not something he chose. It was something that chose him, wrapping itself around his heart from a very young age. His parents noticed it early, the way he would hum melodies while playing, the way his eyes would light up whenever a song came on, especially songs that carried emotion, songs that felt deep and honest. While other children chased noise and excitement, he chased feelings, sitting quietly, singing softly, letting music speak for him when words felt too small. Singing was never about showing off. It was about releasing something he carried inside. As he grew, his love for music grew with him, and one song in particular stayed close to his heart. A Scorpion song that spoke of emotion, longing and truth, even though the song was written long before he was born. It felt strangely familiar, as if it understood him. He did not sing it perfectly. At first, his voice cracked. The notes slipped, but he kept going, learning not just the melody, but the meaning behind it. People often questioned his choice, wondering why a child would sing such a song, but he never felt too young for it. Emotion does not have an age. Pain does not check your birth year, and music does not ask how old you are before it touches you. When he sang that song, he felt calm, connected, complete, as if every lyric helped him understand himself a little more. The journey to America's Got Talent was not easy. It was filled with long days, paperwork waiting, uncertainty, and moments where doubt quietly whispered that maybe this dream was too big. But his family believed in him, not because they wanted fame, but because they saw how music gave him life. They saw how singing made him stronger, more confident, more himself. Now standing behind the curtain, all those memories rushed through him. The late nights practicing, the quiet mornings humming songs, the long journey from home to this enormous stage. A stage that had seen thousands of performers, big dreams, broken dreams, and unforgettable moments. He took a deep breath, reminding himself why he was there. Not to impress, not to win, but to sing. The curtain opened, and the stage lights welcomed him like a sunrise. The theater felt massive, stretching far beyond what his eyes could take in, filled with faces, cameras, and expectations. He walked slowly to the center, every step echoing louder than the last, yet his posture remained calm, his focus steady. The audience watched with curiosity, some smiling, some skeptical, all wondering what this young boy was about to bring. Simon Cowell leaned back in his chair, arms crossed, his expression neutral but attentive. He had seen countless auditions, heard countless voices, and learned to protect himself from being easily impressed. The other judges exchanged brief glances, taking in the sight of a child standing alone on such a large stage, holding a microphone that almost seemed too big for him. When the boy spoke, his voice was soft but clear, respectful but confident. He shared his name, his age, and when asked about his song choice, he mentioned Scorpions, A quiet wave of surprise moved through the room, murmurs spreading among the audience, eyebrows lifting, curiosity growing. A Scorpion song was not what anyone expected. From a child, the music began gentle and slow, and for a brief moment the boy closed his eyes. Then he sang. His voice entered the room like a fragile thread, delicate but steady, carrying an emotion that instantly shifted the atmosphere. The audience fell silent, the judges leaned in, and the theater transformed from a place of noise into a space of listening. Each lyric flowed naturally, not forced, not rehearsed, but felt. His voice was not loud, yet it carried, reaching the back of the hall with honesty. Rather than power, he sang as if the song belonged to him, as if every word came from his own story, even though the experiences behind the lyrics were far beyond his years. As the song progressed, something rare happened. People stopped judging and started feeling. Simon's expression changed suddenly, his eyes narrowing not in criticism, but in focus. One judge's lips trembled slightly. Another placed a hand over their heart, reacting not to technique, but to truth. The boy's voice cracked briefly, not from mistake, but from emotion. And instead of breaking the moment, it deepened. Imperfection made it real. Vulnerability made it powerful. The audience felt it instantly, some wiping their eyes, others holding their breath, unwilling to miss a single note. He did not move much. He did not gesture dramatically. He simply stood there letting the song speak. His small hands held the microphone firmly, grounding him, anchoring him to the moment. With every verse, his confidence grew. Not the confidence of performance, but the confidence of connection. When the chorus arrived, his voice lifted, surprising everyone with its strength. The sound filled the theater, rich with emotion carrying pain, hope and longing all at once. It was no longer just a song. It was a shared experience, binding strangers together through feeling. Simon leaned forward, now elbows on the desk. Eyes locked on the boy, the room felt suspended in time, as if nothing else existed outside those notes. The judges were no longer evaluating. They were listening, absorbing, feeling something they could not easily explain. The camera captured faces in the crowd, parents holding children, older fans recognizing the song, all united by the same emotion. Music erased differences, age, background language, leaving only connection behind. As the final verse approached, the boy softened his voice again, almost whispering as if sharing a secret with the room. The last note lingered, delicate and haunting, floating in the air before gently fading into silence. For a moment there was nothing. No applause, no cheers. Just silence thick with emotion. Then the room erupted. The audience stood clapping, cheering, some crying openly. The boy opened his eyes, startled by the reaction. His expression filled with disbelief and quiet joy. Simon stood up, a rare sight, and the crowd grew even louder. One judge wiped away tears. Another struggled to speak, their voices catching as they tried to put emotion into words. When Simon finally spoke, his tone was different. Softer, thoughtful. He spoke about honesty, about how difficult it is to truly move people, and how this performance did exactly that. He praised the courage it takes to stand on that stage, especially at such a young age, and to sing with heart rather than fear. The boy listened carefully, absorbing every word, his eyes shining under the lights. He thanked the judges politely, his voice trembling slightly, overwhelmed but grateful. As he walked off the stage, the applause followed him, wrapping around him like a warm embrace. Backstage, he finally let the tears fall, hugging his family tightly, feeling relief, pride, and happiness all at once. This moment, no matter what came next, had already changed his life. The video spread quickly, shared across screens and continents, touching people who had never met him. Comments poured in, people speaking about hope, about courage, about how a child reminded them of the power of music. For many, this was more than an audition. It was a reminder that true talent is not about perfection. It is about feeling that sometimes the smallest voices carry the biggest emotions, and sometimes a song can say what words cannot. The young Filipino boy did not just sing a Scorpion song. That night he told a story of dreams, courage, and honesty. And long after the stage lights dimmed, his voice remained echoing in hearts around the world, proving that music, when sung from the soul, can make even the toughest critics cry and turn a simple moment into something unforgettable.